Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, we now answer the questions on the evil effects of magic, part 4. A brother asks, I think it's called website designer. Salam brother, my question is, if the jinn is a Muslim, why are they affected by recitation of the Quran? Why are they affected by the recitation of the Quran? Allah knows best. This is the knowledge of the unseen. We are taught and we are commanded to do ruqya on those who are afflicted with sihr, jinn possession and ayn, and people that suffer from fever. Basically, ruqya is for everything, every illness. So that is what we're ordered to do. And if the jinn claims to be a Muslim, as he claims that, but we cannot verify he's a Muslim. And another question is, so why are Muslim jinns doing evil? Again, that's by Abid. Similar question. The answer to your question, Abid, is that we cannot verify if he's a Muslim jinn or not, and Allah knows best. Says Al-Mansur says, one of the brothers used to pray 5 times a day. Suddenly he stopped doing his salah, and he's saying he doesn't believe in anything like the Quran and the Sunnah. I think he's from USA, Ohio. Brother, this, he could be suffering from jinn possession. It's not far-fetched, but maybe somebody should, who's close to him, to sit him down and talk to him and try to find out what is actually going on. Depending on his age, depending on his circumstance, his surroundings, we don't just jump on the bandwagon and just start saying he's got jinn. That's not going to help him in any way or form. So the best thing to do is sit him down and talk to him and find out what's really going on. Remember, jinns, when they take possession of a person and they influence them in a way where they stop them from praying, and stop them from, for instance, eating, stop them from sleeping, it's basically the person has become weak, either physically weak, or they become mentally weak, basically stressed out, or emotionally weak. So whenever there is a weakness, the shayateen will attack you, as they'll see you as prey. But if you're strong and you're healthy, physically, spiritually, mentally, then you are safe. And Allah knows best. I hope that answered your question. But just to recap, my advice to you is to sit down and speak to this person and to find out what's really going on and what's made him weak. The next question I'll be answering is a video called The Evil Effects of Magic number 2. It asks on the video of The Evil Effects of Magic part 2, why is the jinn reacting the way he is and screaming and shouting and jerking the way he is? Now, jinns differ from one another. Some of them are affected as soon as they come up on the body, they start to feel the pain. And I don't know why. That is something from the unseen. Even when you're talking to them, they're in pain. Some will challenge you, some will actually try to fight you, some will pretend to be the person. But why is this particular person in pain? I can't tell you, because that is something from the unseen. And if anyone else has knowledge of this, then they're lying to you. They're not sincere, or they're basically lying to you. So don't listen to anyone. This is the knowledge of the unseen. Wali Abbas, 𝗦𝗙𝗏𝗪, asks a question. A person I know had jinn problem or evil eye for around 10 years and has previously had 3 sessions of 45-minute ruqya treatment, but there are no signs of any unusual movement. How long does a Raqi need to read on a patient before signs of jinn possession appear in the patient? Now, in this question, there's a lot of talk that we can talk about. Is that, number one, that the person has been suffering for 10 years. For 10 years he's been suffering. So if he's been suffering for 10 years, why do you expect a reaction straight away? for 10 years he's been suffering, okay, but you expect things to happen in 45 minutes. Now, if the person has been possessed by a jinn, this jinn has took part of the personality of the individual, so he can pretend to be the individual, so it'd be very hard to detect. So that's number one. If it's ayn and it's caused a medical illness, for instance, then the person himself has to get medically treated if the ayn has caused a medical issue. So what I want to point out is, if somebody's been affected for a long period of time, don't rush and don't expect too much in the first session or the second or the third. The person might have to do ruqya for a long period of time, almost like a year or 2 years or even 3 years sometimes. So don't rush, okay? That's my first advice. And if the person you know and you're still in contact with them, then what you do, you give them a program to follow, and inshallah Allah will open them doors for that person as they're getting closer and closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and they become stronger. So that's my advice to you and to the person who's afflicted. Yes, Quran oil is used daily and is helping. So alhamdulillah, if it's helping, then there is a sign, because there's a sign of help. So if you're seeing positive things, then you should be thankful and you should keep at it. Do not look for the negative reaction, which most people like and see and think it's exciting, but that's not what you should be looking for. You should be looking for a relief, a cure, not for jinn reaction. Barakallahu feek. How many ruqya sessions is needed to be free from the devastating trial? It could be one dua, okay? To the flip coin of the whole question. So I said it might take a year, it might take 3 years, but it might take one dua, okay? But for the cure, not for a reaction. It's different. When you're looking for a reaction, it's something else, but when you're looking for a cure, the cure can come in one sitting, and Allah knows best. Okay, the next question is vlog 6, doing Ruqya and hijama while possessed. Islam, the love of my life. Barakallahu feek. These videos are very helpful and teach a lot. How come both hijama and ruqya are not performed on a possessed patient who is controlled? Can the jinn be extracted physically from the blood? No, that's no evidence for that. Okay, there's no evidence for that. Hijama is good, it's beneficial, but you don't extract jinns out of blood. Okay, some people might believe that, but there's no proof and there's no evidence, because that's something to do with the unseen. Barakallahu feekum. Rasil Rahman Abu Nadir, assalamu alaikum akhi. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you tell us a bit more about our qareen? No, I can't tell you any more about the qareen, except that it only advises us to do evil. But the Prophet ﷺ, his qareen was affected by the Prophet ﷺ and became Muslim, and only advised him to do good. Where in our case, our qareen always advises us to do evil. Does shaitan use our qareen? Is it a means to possess us? Like I said, this is the knowledge of the unseen, and the qareen we do not dwell in, we do not talk about, because we have little knowledge of the qareen, except that it only advises us to do evil. And is our nafs from the qareen? No, your nafs is separate. Your nafs is your soul that will encourage you to make you follow your desires. Basically, your nafs is your desire. Okay, let's have a break.